Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. My name is Anya Siddiqui, and we are back here yet again with Khadija Qureshi. Hi, Khadija. Oh, she's muted. But
Hello.
thank you, Khadija, for joining us again. It's always a pleasure to have you, and she always has such great insight to share about LinkedIn. She knows the ins and outs, that all the secrets that we don't know. So thank you for sharing that with us. And before we get started, I just want to make sure that everyone is properly connected. Please note that you are all on listen only mode, so we will not be able to hear you, but we will be taking up your questions towards the end of the presentation. For that, please type in your questions into the Q&A tab, and Khadija will be taking your questions. And your feedback is always very important to us, so please do fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. And for best results, please use a laptop or a desktop computer. If you are using mobile devices such as cell phones or tablets, I recommend downloading the Zoom app for best results. Just to tell you a little bit about ACCES, we've been around for over 30 years helping job seekers such as yourselves. Just in the past year alone, we were able to serve over 34,000 job seekers. We work with over 2,200 employers. We have a lot of different partners, community partners, business partners, different sponsors that we work with. And we have over 30 tailored programs, which include our sector-specific bridging programs and our pre-arrival program as well. To find out more, check out our website. And everything right now is being held online. So usually people would have to commute from one end of the city to the other to attend one of our bridging programs. But now that everything is online, you can attend from the comfort of your own home. So take that for advantage right now. So it's being offered. Check out our website and see if you can register for an info session. We do have 7 locations in the GTA, but right now all of our services have gone virtual. So we are in our online service location currently. So Khadija, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Hello. Thank you so much, Sonia, for having me back. It's always great to do these monthly LinkedIn kind of sessions where I kind of drop some like real knowledge bombs to guide and empower newcomers to Canada and pre-arrival immigrants community of access employment on how they can unleash the power of LinkedIn opportunity to connect with right decision makers, which will really elevate and help them in settling down sooner with their career goals. And primarily that is ultimately getting their first job here in Canada. So, so introducing myself, can we have next slide, please? Yeah. So introducing myself, I am a social media strategist and a proud online LinkedIn trainer, primarily for newcomers to Canada, transitional job seekers, and professionals. I have also won an award using LinkedIn for a social good, where I used LinkedIn to connect a newcomer to Canada to an opportunity, and she had her first contract here in Canada. So that was something to be proud of. Apart from that, I sleep, drink, and literally eat LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn since 2017. So I really know the ins and outs of this platform, what really works, how it has evolved, and the features, and how newcomers can use this, because the needs are really very special. And as I've walked through the path of newcomer and now I'm a settled immigrant, I can really tell you specifically how you can use that. So you can join me on any of the social media platforms even after this presentation. So today, and next slide, please. Today, I'll be talking about 6 LinkedIn myths, basically, that newcomers have, and I will really debunk all of them. But before that, let's quickly go into why you should invest on LinkedIn. These are some, because brain needs figures to validate something. LinkedIn right now has released latest numbers, and right now globally, the members have grown from 690 to 690 million to 706 and growing million members in 200 countries. Specifically in Canada, the number have grown from 16 million to 17 million and growing. The content creators, basically people who create content. Okay, Sonia, can you please just take over? I just give me a minute. Basically, so continuing right now, the numbers says it itself that right now LinkedIn is not being used to its full potential. Right now, out of 706 million global members, 3 to 5% are creating content. By I mean creating content, creating posts and articles. Basically, on any social media platform, if you need to build your digital presence, you need to create content. So right now, only 3 to 5%. So if you hop on LinkedIn right now, you will be an early adapter with very less competition to establish your thought leadership brand in front of Canadian professionals. And the 3 to 5% is the demand, is basically the supply of content creation, and 47% are people who are coming and passively reading those posts. So there is a big gap between the demand and the supply. So I would say right time, hop on LinkedIn opportunity right now. There is less competition. Over and above, LinkedIn is a tool which has gone beyond basically jobs. It's no longer, it was a job search website, but right now it's a professional community hub where Canadian professionals are coming with the point of view to learn, connect, build, and just evolve as professionals. So right time for newcomers to Canada, job seekers to hop on LinkedIn and start interacting with Canadian professionals, but in the right way. And I will tell you how. Can we have next slide, please? Okay, this I will briefly touch upon. I always start every presentation with the mindset part. As a newcomer to Canada or as a pre-arrival immigrant, you're entering into a new environment. So just like you enter into any new environment, it has its own dynamic, it has its own cultural value, it has its own nuances basically. So what you might be in your origin environment, and when you enter the new environment, what might have worked over there might not work over here. So probably you have to unlearn few things, learn new things, grow and evolve. So make that muscle of resiliency really very strong, which I think so every newcomer has, because when you take that decision that we have to migrate, you are already ready for it. But be ready to be friends with fear of unknown. That's only how you will grow. Next slides, please. Next slide. Okay, so what are the learning outcomes? I'll be debunking six LinkedIn myths which newcomers to Canada usually have. The first one is LinkedIn is not anymore a job applying website. The second one, usually the LinkedIn myth is that LinkedIn profile is same as resume. LinkedIn professionals might not be accessible. Another LinkedIn myth is that it's a very serious platform. Why should I come on this platform, and why should I talk about my expertise on this platform? And last, if I need to be on LinkedIn, I have to be perfect. So I'll be debunking all these myths with the reality basically. Can we have next slide, please? So let's go on the first LinkedIn myth, which is basically LinkedIn is just a job applying platform. It's no longer a job applying platform. It was before 2016, late 2016. Microsoft basically took over this platform, and since then the vision has changed, the features have changed. This platform has really evolved from being a job applying website in 2016 to being a professional community hub. Specifically, if you're trying to tap Canadian professionals' attention, that's where you need to be. It's a community hub where Canadian professionals are coming to connect. Although they might be, some of them might be passive content consumers, but they are coming onto this platform. They have a digital footprint, so you need to be onto this platform. So LinkedIn, and numbers speaks, LinkedIn right now is a top choice for online professional branding and networking. So be where your audience is. So your audience, your industry specific decision makers for your first job here in Canada are on LinkedIn. So you really need to be on LinkedIn. Specifically right now, everything is digital. I see COVID-19 is an unfortunate thing that has happened, but it has really accelerated an explosion of digital opportunities for newcomers to Canada. While even you are at your origin country as a pre-arrival immigrant, events are happening digitally, resources are happening digitally. The presence and the attention of industry-specific professionals are on digital platforms and specifically LinkedIn. So harp onto this opportunity. Can we have next slide, please? Okay, so this was the first myth. The second myth newcomers to Canada usually have is basically they treat LinkedIn profile as a resume. LinkedIn profile is not your resume. Specifically here in Canada, Canadian professionals, whether it be hiring manager, recruiters, talent acquisition managers, or any industry specific professional, they take LinkedIn more than resume. Why? Resume is basically, I call it a marketing tool which you really need to customize to each of the job description that you're applying. LinkedIn profile basically speaks to your ideal 3 to 4 job titles that you might be targeting, to 10 LinkedIn humans that you're trying to impress. So basically you build up your LinkedIn presence to impress overall these 10 LinkedIn humans or these 3 job titles that you're targeting. Resumes is targeting, it's a targeted gun approach, one resume for one job title speaking to one job description. So that's the primary difference. So LinkedIn is a crisp, short, and speaks to one targeted company. Your LinkedIn profile speaks, it's basically your digital presence as, like, for example, as Khatija Qureshi, my LinkedIn profile, my post, my comment communication that I make with others, it's basically speaking to multiple peoples. So my narrative is needs to be built upon to impress these targeted 10 LinkedIn humans that I want to develop relationship with. So it speaks to your multiple ideal companies and LinkedIn humans. So also another misconception is that you only need to talk about profession. Yes, it's a professional network, and you need to act and behave and say which you would not say other than in which you might not be comfortable in saying in work environment. But you need to reflect real you. You cannot have a filter and then come on LinkedIn, because right now on LinkedIn, audience there, they are so prone in identifying fake and filtered stuff that they don't want LinkedIn to be another casual platform that you enjoy expressing your opinion, like Facebook, Snapchat. So LinkedIn is where you have to reflect the real you as a business professional, and it's conversational. It's not monotone. You say, and you will, if you say something, expect to hear back from others in terms of comment communication, in terms of in-mails. So it's very interactive, and people expect other person to be conversational and authentic. So that's another myth I just wanted to debunk. Let's go to the other slide, please. So this is basically LinkedIn profile. This is basically how LinkedIn profile looks like. It has more than 10 sections. So whatever you do, all these 10 sections, your name, your tagline, your summary, your work experience, it all needs to reflect the real you. There are best practices, which I have already done one session with ACCES. You can always go and see how you should beef up your LinkedIn profile to reflect real you and conversational and aspirational you. So that is LinkedIn profile. Can we have next slide, please? So after you have built up your LinkedIn profile, you need to have digital presence. And on any social media, just like any social media, on LinkedIn also your digital presence comes from your posts. It's like in person, when you meet a person, you cannot stay quiet, you have to speak. So your speaking power on LinkedIn is through your posts. So posts you create need to be really very intentional around how you want to be perceived as. So be very, very mindful of what you create posts around, because ultimately it all needs to sum up to impressing right industry specific people with the right thought leadership brand in that space. So work your energy, resources, and your time on LinkedIn in an intentional way. Next slide, please. Now, this is the third myth that a lot of newcomers to Canada has, that professionals basically come on LinkedIn who are very serious. People come on LinkedIn just to get leads. If you're an entrepreneur, they will hop on LinkedIn to get leads, to get sales. If you're a job seeker, you just hop on LinkedIn to get your job. No, even Canadian professionals who are not looking to switch jobs right now, who entrepreneurs who are not looking for sales lead, they're hopping on LinkedIn to learn from other people, to really do research and insights about industry trends, to simply connect and network with other professionals, because right now that's where the attention is. So it's not only that it's at the last resort you need to hop on LinkedIn to get some ultimate big goal, a job or a sales. No, that is of course the ultimate thing, but you just don't hop onto something with an ask. You need to keep your relationship warm with LinkedIn over a period of time, and it is really helping people connecting with right industry specific people in learning how things are happening in an industry. So it's no longer just a big ask platform. It's a platform to grow, learn, and evolve. And as a newcomer to Canada, you really need to connect with LinkedIn content, because you want to learn about Canadian culture, Canadian communication, your industry trends, on how things are evolving. Like if I was a social media strategist back in Dubai, in CPG industry, I would love to know what is happening in CPG industry in Canada, so that next time I interact or I e-converse or I do a comment communication with CPG Canadian professional, I talk relevantly, right? So I'm debunking this myth that LinkedIn is not a serious platform. It's an evolving platforms where professionals are coming in to literally jam in with knowledge, to jam in with community, professional community, to jam in to support each other, to motivate each other. So I call it a professional community hub. So that this is the third myth. Can we have the second slide, please? Okay, so I'm just giving you a snapshot of my news feed. So this is my activity. Every profile has an activity session. So if you go onto my profile by name of Khatija Qureshi, there is an activity section which will come below featured section. So it basically tells what Khatija Qureshi is doing on LinkedIn. So you can literally do digital footprinting. What am I doing? Which profiler I'm networking with? Which LinkedIn group I'm going to? So right now, if you see this activity, I am talking to someone and I'm saying that this is an inspiring content that you have talked about, and this person is talking about goal setting. Another one talked about the mistake that he made for one of his clients. So I went on and I said that you create awesome content for your client. The fourth one over here, you can see that I basically shared one of my professional aha moments where I presented in a local university here in Toronto. So I'm sharing all the goodness and all the learnings with my audience. So what I'm trying to say is that as a profiler, there are so many different ways you can exhibit yourself, and don't show yourself as a serious LinkedIn human. There are different intentional aspects and content pillars you can create post around. Again, go back to one of my sessions that I had with ACCES, and also you can follow me on LinkedIn. I talk all about LinkedIn. Can we have next slide, please? Again, that was my activity. Now this is my news feed of my community. People are coming on LinkedIn to educate. So Adam Daniel, I follow him a lot. Adam Daniel is talking about e-bulb, and he's just sharing a video of one of this industry tech trends. Ilana, one of another connections, is talking about Canadian research-based insights based on certain industry. Elvin is inspiring people around how to set your goal setting and incorporate your personal personal associations with your professional goal settings to be more accountable. Sarah is talking is going to LinkedIn family and using the poll feature to ask for opinion. And then there I am doing a LinkedIn live to learn, to network, and to build connection. And if you see in the LinkedIn live, there are so many other people who are networking with each other. Like one connections really started networking with another industry specific connection. So what I'm trying to say with this snapshot, LinkedIn is acting as a community hub. It's no longer a serious platform. It's no longer just a job search platform. You literally come onto this platform as a community to get inspiration, to get educated, to ask for opinion, to build network, and genuinely evolve as a professional. So hop on it. Can we have next slide, please? So those were the three LinkedIn myths. Fourth one is basically, do I need to create perfect content? And like when this thing comes in, and when I say that you need to create imposter syndrome literally takes over the mind, specifically for those who are not comfortable, and it's for the first time that they're creating. So you don't need to be perfect. And I just shared you my news feed. People are not sharing perfect content. People are sharing raw and real content. And just 2 weeks back, LinkedIn Stories is rolling out. It rolled out in India last week. Day before yesterday. It rolled out 2 weeks back here in Canada and in North America. So LinkedIn Stories feature is it's bringing out professional sharing, raw, casual, and authentic. So you don't need to be perfect. So my advice to newcomers to Canada who are not content creator or post creator would be, start off with commenting. Just go to industry specific Canadian professionals, start commenting on their post. This is a good warmer for you to get comfortable in typing and expressing your opinion. Then when you're comfortable, then start creating text posts. Then you can elevate to text plus visual post, then video post. So start off with comments, but show your digital presence, and that only comes when you start speaking. And speaking on LinkedIn is through your comment communication or through your own post. So your professional and remember always, whenever you have that imposter syndrome taking over you, why me? Why should I share my expertise? Always remember, on LinkedIn, any professional is, people are coming to learn from you. So know your insight, your post, your perspective will always be unique, because your journey is unique and people are coming to learn from you. And even if you create that ripple effect in the mind of an only one professional, it's a big transformational change that you have triggered. So your professional interest, sites, and thought-provoking post will impress. Your perfect visual or the perfect picture, you should not put yourself in a pigeonhole that I need to be perfect. It need to be just perfect. I need to have the best perspective, best insight. Just present whatever knowledge you have, and concentrate on sharing your insight and awesomeness more than concentrating on likes and on the perfectness of the content, basically. So this is one thing I was like, I'll really encourage my newcomers audience to start creating digital presence, because it's a fact. Recruiters, hiring manager, and talent acquisition managers go on LinkedIn to vet people talents and hunt for even hidden talent for that hidden job market. So unleash the power of LinkedIn opportunity. Can we have next slide, please? Okay, so I'm just sharing this content to tell you this is not a picture perfect content, and this is how professionals are sharing it. The first one is by Stephanie. She took out simply of her phone and she created this video, and she added the captions. That's exactly what she did. This does Stephanie's video seems like coming out of professional studio? No, she's simply using her camera, and cameras is what is required for you to start creating content. And if you see Kimani's post on the right, it is just a fist bump that they are doing during COVID. And he's just sharing a virtual fist bump to motivate the audience, and how they're kind of head starting. So this is the content right now being shared on LinkedIn. So you don't need to have a picture perfect content. Just go along, as I said, take the journey, content communication, move on to creating your text post, then move on creating to text plus visual post, which can be as raw as a fist pump. But again, your post needs to have a moral. A moral of the story needs to be there. It should not be a fluffy and blandy and just motivational content. You really need to be intentional, because ultimately you want to use your content and post to create an impression of thought leader as a social media strategist, as a business analyst. So keep your content intentional, but don't stop yourself with the syndrome of creating picture perfect content that I will not. Don't don't make this a limiting factor. That's what I wanted to say. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, the fifth and the sixth I have collaborated together, because this it comes in association. Newcomers to Canada says that I will be wasting my time if I go on LinkedIn, because as newcomers to Canada, we don't have Canadian audience. So I will be ignored. So why should I go? And we all don't like to be ignored, right? But you have to start somewhere. And when you're coming in a new environment, you always have to start from scratch. And I think so newcomers have that resiliency muscle. They have so much yearn to learn that don't let this myth hold you back. Don't let this scare you. There is always a chance on any platform, even in person, you can be ignored, but you cannot stop yourself from taking action, right? If you follow the right LinkedIn etiquettes, if you present yourself in the right mannerism, you will not be ignored. I have been through that journey, and I've used LinkedIn to accelerate in my career as a job seeker, as an entrepreneur, and I don't get ignored. 80% I don't get ignored, 20% I do, but that doesn't stop me from excelling in what I do. And some of that, so that's one of the myth. And the last myth, which kind of is associated with this, that I don't know this platform. How does it work? How can I get Canadian professional attention? And ultimately this will lead to ignorance. So out of the fear of ignorance, we don't hop onto this opportunity. Again, you can learn this platform, how this works. And I have been telling all about this. ACCES have been go on to my previous my monthly webinars with them. Hop on LinkedIn with me. I do LinkedIn lives. I create content. Learn from anyone. There is so many plethora of content out there. Learn about how LinkedIn works. And I'll be leaving you with some anecdotes today as well. But remember that LinkedIn is a social media platform with its own LinkedIn etiquettes, relationship nuances and features and algorithm. Learn how this works, and definitely you will not be ignored if you follow them. Okay, so these were the LinkedIn myths. Let me go into teaching a little bit about LinkedIn etiquettes. Can we have next slide, please? Next slide. I think so. The slide, yeah, I think, yeah. Okay, so what are the LinkedIn etiquettes? The primary LinkedIn etiquettes is the mindset with which you are going onto this platform, and that is definitely value mindset. You have to hop onto this land without an ask initially. Prepare yourself that you have to first establish relationship with this platform and with this family. Just like consider yourself a stranger and you are walking into a networking room, where those networking room has, let's say, 20 to 30 people who are complete strangers to you. What should be your mindset? That you need to first do relationship building, right? You need to first give to them. You need to first nurture relationship to that point that they believe you, they trust you. And believe you me, it's a Canadian cultural value. Once you have given value selflessly to the other person over a period of time, showing your mutual care and trust, the other person will feel so obliged. He will give back to you, I think so, 10 times more than what you have given. But the first approach as a stranger, as a beginner or a starter or a newcomer to Canada, when you're approaching Canadian professional audience, which you're starting to build up, is with a value mindset that you're hopping on LinkedIn to help them achieve their goals first. So you have to give value first to go to the relationship status that you're a trusted partner. till you reach that status of trusted partners, keep on giving selflessly. But again, your questions will be, how can we add as a newcomer? The other day in a webinar, I think so, somebody asked me that how as a newcomer to Canada, we give to Canadian professionals, and that using digital platforms. I will share with you how you can do that digitally. So what are the LinkedIn etiquettes? It's no longer about perfection on LinkedIn. It's about progress then rather than perfection. And I've already talked about this. So try to progress in your digital presence intentionally rather than not getting stuck in that perfection pigeonhole. The second thing is, it's not about number games on LinkedIn. It's about building sustainable relationships and connections over a period of time. It's not about impressing on LinkedIn anymore. It's about making professional impact with your thought leadership, unique perspectives, whether in terms of comment communication, whether in terms of post, or whether in terms of in-mail direct messages. It's not about you on LinkedIn. It's about them, the audience, the people you're connecting with. Add value to them to receive something from them. Okay, so this is some basic insights I'm leaving you with. What's next slide, please. Okay, also this question comes a lot from newcomers. What content should we share? Okay, that is a whole big topic in itself, content creation. Again, go back to my previous webinar, come to my LinkedIn, I create content. But I want to leave you with what kind of mindset will really help you in answering that question. What should I share that on LinkedIn? Would that be right? This basic difference will help you. Takes a subject which is donut. Okay, so if I think of LinkedIn, Snapchat, Pinterest, this is basically casual friends and family living room audience. So with friends and family, you can sit in PJs, you can take a selfie and say that, oh, this is a beautiful pink donut that I'm eating today, and that is acceptable. But when we talk about LinkedIn, can we have next slide, please? This is how you will talk about donut. On LinkedIn, you have to talk about donut in business settings. So if you have a professional goal, that's your donut donut needs to be around a professional goals. For example, I hope I open a franchise one day. I'm looking for a job in a donut company. I have 3 years of experience making donuts. My top skills is donut production, and these are 3 recommendations about donut. Even if you're writing a post, that post needs to be revolving around a professional goal. So any of these goals, pick it up and start creating content. Like if my goal is that I want to land a job in a donut franchise, so what will I start doing is that I will start talking about the pain points of the audience in that donut production factory, which I will be able to solve through my skill sets. So what I'm trying to say, subject matter is the same, donut, but how we are writing content around the goals are different. So use LinkedIn with a professional mindset to solve your professional goals. Can we have next slide, please? Okay. Also, not only digital presence comes from content creation, it also comes from interacting with other people. That's where exactly how conversation starts. So this is a very powerful visual. I feel that you are in the center, and then you start conversing with first degree connections, and beautiful LinkedIn features allows you to come in front of second and third degree connection of that first degree connection. So see simply doing comment communication with first degree, let's say 5 Canadian professionals you start talking with. So when you start talking and leaving those bite-sized, thoughtful comment communication, that comment will be seen by the second and third degree connection of that first degree connection you are trying to nurture relationships. So basically what you're trying to do is that you're leveraging industry specific network of that first degree connection. So how powerful this tool is, right? So let's quickly go into the next slide. Okay, so this is the roadmap you should follow as a newcomer to Canada, and it's based on a user experience. First, have your LinkedIn home ready, which is your LinkedIn profile, that is by your own name. Beef up those 10 plus section, your picture, your head cover banner, your tagline, your about a summary, featured section, skills and endorsement. There are basically 10 plus sections. Please, please, please write them thoughtfully. It should not be a copy paste from your resume. You can take an inspiration, but it should reflect the real you. It should be conversational. It should be aspirational. It should talk about your accomplishment statement. And the storytelling narrative needs to weave in uniformly in all those 10 sections. Identify which one job title you want to land job in, identify and research more about the technicals and the soft skills, and embed them in storytelling on your LinkedIn platform. Once your LinkedIn home is ready, start creating posts, start doing comment communication, and that basically tells and exhibit your expertise right now as a thought leader. Then when you have started, you have done little bit of that, then start attracting the right eyeballs, because ultimately people, industry specific people, will fall onto your profile and will see your post to take the overall holistic impression of your knowledge and of your personal values. Personal values are really very important over here, because companies are looking for cultural fit. You can be super in technical skills, but if you're not cultural fit, they will not shortlist you. So do have a digital presence the way you want it to be perceived as. And that's how you should start connecting with right industry specific people. Not merely connect, grow and nurture relationship. And how you can do that, can we have next slide please? Okay, I haven't included that, but how you can nurture relationships through certain digital interactions. Go like and share their post, go and do comment communication, literally follow their digital footsteps through the activity section and be where they are, support them achieving their goals. You scaling their content, you are supporting them achieving their professional goals. You motivating and going liking and sharing their content, you're literally motivating them. It's kind of a digital value you are giving to them. So through these actions you can nurture relationship, and once you reach to the point of that they trust you as a valued follower, then you can go for a small value ask of, let's say, 10 minutes informational coffee virtual coffee interview. But that too, please, please, please customize, be very specific what you're looking for. Otherwise, if you keep it very, very open-ended, I am looking for a job search strategy in this industry, you are delaying the response from the other people, because that's a very open-ended general question. So my advice to you is do digital nurturing of relationship, earn the title of valued follower, then go for a customized value in mail ask mail. At the end, LinkedIn branding as a newcomer to Canada, it's an investment tool. Relations that you build over here might not be helpful for you to getting that first job, but overall, once you develop relationship and become friends with right industry specific people, they can really help you with your second, third or fourth job. But I have seen people, like I have one client who nurtured relationship with an industry specific professional. He didn't had an opportunity in his industry, in his company, but he had a friend of his had an opportunity open up in his company and he referred her. So what I'm trying to say is that LinkedIn branding is an investment tool. If you do it with right industry specific people with intentional professional impression, you will earn referrals and right opportunities will come in your newsfeed. So go up that digital presence. That is it, I think so for today. Can we have next slide, please? I think so that is it for today. Okay, so these are few heads up. I'll quickly go through this. It's basically focus on relationship, never ask for anything. Be ready to face rejection. Don't, like, if you write to, let's say, 10 LinkedIn connection request, only 2 reply back with accept. Don't take that rejection personally. Move on to another qualified Canadian professional. Keep your networking pipeline filled in, because definitely rejection is a part of growth basically, right? Can we have next slide, please? Yeah. Also, one of the gap that I see in newcomers to Canada are making is the approach and the communication that they're using. They're not using Canadian communication. A lot of them approach me by the terms, thank you, madam, thank you, sir. Don't use sir and madam. It's okay to use the first name here. So in terms of LinkedIn communication, if you're addressing someone, you can use dear and then the first name. So if you're addressing me, you can always say dear Khatija, and then you can say we were a part of the attendee of ACCES webinar, and we would love to connect with you, something like that. Customize your any communication that you're writing to anyone, but start seeing and communicating and hearing Canadian content, so that unconsciously your language, the terms and communication you use, and the approach you use to approach the other person, even online, it's inherent to Canadian culture. And last is that ACCES or any other settlement agency, do ask them about Canadian communication workplace culture. I know ACCES have some English classes, but try to amp up your Canadian communication and knowledge on Canadian workplace culture, because that really helps you in approaching, even in writing to LinkedIn messages. It really helps. I think so that is it. Next slide, please. Yeah, so here I am. Today the conversation has ended, but we can always continue that on LinkedIn. I share loads of content, daily content around LinkedIn branding, specifically newcomers to Canada. So you can connect with me there. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I do it everywhere. Just look for name Khatija Qureshi and we can always connect. That is it from my side.
Thank you so much, Khatija. We're going to take questions, everyone. So if you want, you can type your questions into the Q&A tab. I'm going to start with the first question here from Alex. Do completed LinkedIn learning courses have a large impact on how a candidate is viewed by potential employers?
Okay, I think so. He's talking about the LinkedIn platform courses, which is by the name of LinkedIn Learning.
Yes.
So yes, any type of course that you do, whether it be through LinkedIn, Udemy, ACCES, bridging program, it is basically sending signals to the viewer, basically, that you're a lifelong learner. And right now, during COVID-19, employers are looking for learners who are able to learn new things which are happening, and who are willing to adapt. So I think so that is one of the soft skills which the education and licenses and certification sections really reflect. And if you are, and it's one of the top trends, COVID top trends, like if you go to Google, it's one of the top COVID top trends that everybody is going into the learning mode, because it's one of the sought after skills, soft skills. So yes, if you have done any LinkedIn learning course, you have an option of attaching it to your licenses and certification section. So a free way, I think so, of creating an impression of lifelong learner, which is one of the most sought after skills during COVID.
Thank you. Next question here is, okay, that question is also answered with that question. Okay, so people who want to access this webinar again, you will not get the slide deck, but you will get the recording sometime tomorrow, or you can use the registration Zoom link that you used today to log in. That turns into a recording after a few hours after the webinar. So you totally can watch this again. Next question here is from Zohab. Can you explain why people don't accept connection requests, even after you send a personalized message stating that you just want to build a professional connection?
Okay, I will share a case study. I had a client, and he came with a basic question. Khadija, LinkedIn is not working for me. And I said, okay, what are the indicators that it's not working for you? And one of the indicators was that I'm sending connection request and they are not accepting. So if the other person is not allowing me inside the door, how can I start the conversation? So I took deep dive. So basically, what you are writing in that connection request. Okay, you might be customizing it. Probably the way you have written it, it is not giving a welcoming vibe. The approach that you have taken might not be the way accepted in Canadian culture. So basically, communication, the approach, and the vibe. I say every written message has a vibe. So I feel that's why I say to newcomers to Canada, please start watching Canadian content. You will learn the communication, the approach that you need to have, and the vibe with which you need to write. Because ultimately, if I am like, I'll just say that if I am a job seeker whose savings are dwindling and I'm in 6th month of my landing, it will definitely reflect in what I write. So my answer to your question would be one of the basic quick formulas. I can say that when you're writing a customized invite, the first sentence should be all about association. It should be all about that you have taken time in reading something about the other person. It should be all about the other person, giving value. So you can use something like that. I have seen through your LinkedIn profile that you have this as an interest. This is my interest as well. So this is our mutual interest. So that can be an icebreaker. Then you can say some other fun fact about his or her professional story. You can say some fun fact about that we both are from this alumni. So basically go back and do a little bit of LinkedIn profile digging and find some association. And that association, the first liner needs to be all about the other person. So that is the first liner. And then the second liner should be why you want to connect. Be very specific. Don't give blandy or fluffy answer that I would love to connect with you because LinkedIn just suggested you. Don't keep it very, very open. Be very specific. You can always use scripts like that I'm from this industry and I'm an emerging professional and I would love to learn from the content that you create, and I want my news feed to bring that content first thing in the morning, something like that. Be very specific and don't ask for anything. That is a big no-no. And always end with a salutation, thank you, and I look forward to having a conversation with you on your content. Don't say informational, through your content, basically. So I hope this guides you somehow. Thank you.
Thank you, Khadija. Next question here is, how do you contact recruiters on LinkedIn?
Okay. Again, the same thing is that do relationship building with anyone, whether it be recruiters, whether it be hiring managers, whether it be any LinkedIn human. Do relationship first. Your approach and increasing the probability of successful connection and not getting rejection is following LinkedIn etiquettes. And people are expecting you to do relationship building and not just connecting. So I get so many customized invite, very good invites. I connect with them and then it's all crickets. They don't come on my content and do comment communication. They don't literally converse with me. Okay, comment, try to build relationship and get in. Like, I'm not like, that's why I say newcomers needs to be intentional. I don't want you to talk to 100 people. No, don't do that. You are doing injustice to your goal. Have a goal. This is, I want to land a job in this job title in this industry. Identify people who are in that industry. Let's say 10 LinkedIn humans you identify. Start nurturing relationship with them only. Don't invest in quantity, invest in quality with those just 10 industry specific people. And building and nurturing of relationship, whether it be recruiters, starts from comment communication, thoughtful comment communication. Do that for a period of 3 to 4 weeks, even 2 weeks. If they are making 3 posts, do 3 comment communication, 2 weeks, 6 comment communication. They will remember your name at least. And then probably you can do more digital interaction, like and share the comment, give them positive testimonials that I'm following blah blah blah, tag them that he creates great content around this space. I would highly recommend all newcomers to go and learn from him. So basically through these mannerism you are giving value, and you're giving value as a stranger, as a newcomer to Canada, to this Canadian professional, and they will remember you. I can tell you from my experience right now, one LinkedIn human is really making an effort of making relationship building with me. So whether it be recruiters, start with comment communication, digital interactions, and then make your move of connection request and specific ask in mail. I think so that should be the way of connecting with recruiters or anybody else.
Thank you, Khadija. So you did mention, to share, like, help people and share things on LinkedIn. So if someone's an Android developer, would it be a good idea to start sharing any development tips related to their profession?
Woo, bingo. Whoever has proposed that, he is literally taking learning from this webinar. So good job, whoever has. Exactly, this is what you need to do. For example, if you're an Android developer, so how you do content creation, it's done in phases, but write down your content creation goal that I want to be perceived as Android developer, let's say in 1 month. So you do, you say, okay, I will do 3 times post in a way. So your content pillar can be around different facets of development. I don't know Android development, but it can be around research. One post can be around research, and then whatever stages are that. But again, don't just give education posts. There are people are coming online not only for education. People are again coming on LinkedIn for primarily 4 reasons. I say educate, to get education, to inform people, to get inspiration, and to get some entertainment, professional entertainment. So, and professional entertainment, by that I mean professional challenges are happening, professional webinars are happening. A lot is like LinkedIn Live is a great way. So what I'll try to tell whoever asked this question, the Android developer, not only just do like the educational post, beautiful way, the way you said, yes, you can start talking about different stages of Android development, but also do some informational sharing, some inspirational sharing, and some some professional entertainment sharing. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you. No, I'm very glad that that came up. So that gives insight to others as well. All right. So Neha says that we're always advised to change our resume, including keywords and everything, like change the entire resume around. However, LinkedIn has a base profile and it might not have all the keywords as a resume. So how do you handle this situation?
Okay, first of all, when you are getting on LinkedIn, forget about the keywords or the bots or anything. Get on LinkedIn with the mindset of um, representing the real you. That is the first thing I will say, because when you get on LinkedIn representing the real you, you are literally putting all the limitation, because you will be the way you are, right? So that is the first thing. Definitely I'll talk about keywords, but that's the second thing. So once I come on LinkedIn, I'll start writing the tagline, the summary. So I'm not limiting myself, I'm just being myself, and that will be a motivator for me to write. So that is first thing. So write your first draft just being you, of course following certain Canadian norms, use numbers and some action words, blah blah blah. Then once you have written, let's say, the first draft of your summary of your work experience, of your skills and endorsement, then infuse keywords. Then you should, that's the second stage. And you should not to play around with LinkedIn bot, there is something called keyword density, and more keywords you use in different section of your LinkedIn, the more you are to be picked up for LinkedIn searches for those keywords. But please don't force fit it, because ultimately you will be really good friends with LinkedIn search, but ultimately LinkedIn human is coming onto your LinkedIn profile. And if you force fit it, you are making yourself a fool, let me tell you. People, as you say, as I said, recruiters are looking for real you, and by forcefully fitting in the keywords, you are sending signals to the other person that you are probably not ethical, or probably you are just doing this as a hack to get the foot in the door. It will not leave a good impression. So do keyword injection, infusing intelligently, but primarily write the first draft as a professional, as a real you, and then infuse the keywords wherever possible. And there are so many ways you can do that. I speak about that all the time on my LinkedIn content. Join me there. I've created some videos which are in my featured section. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. The last question here is, and it's a great concern that someone has, so thank you for bringing this up. How important is LinkedIn? What if you're not good at presenting yourself and creating a good digital footprint? Does that put this person as a disadvantage because they don't have, because their LinkedIn is not as great as they would like it to be?
Okay, so I think so. I see the Sunil have asked this. Sunil, great question. Okay, let me put it this way. Basically, as a part of and I have network of career coaches, recruiter, talent acquisition manager, and I literally am on LinkedIn every day, at least 3 to 4 hours, and I see this. Everybody speaking that, and I'm telling this to you from a fact. LinkedIn is an undisputed platform where all the decision makers go in the job search. So there are basically two markets. The first market is 20% published market, where the online jobs get published. You apply through a formal process, your resume gets shortlisted. Immediately as your resume gets shortlisted through ATS machine, the recruiter immediately goes to LinkedIn. LinkedIn vetting is a part of Canadian hiring process. So you need to amp up your game with LinkedIn presence, because otherwise there will be 10 resume. If one resume have impressive LinkedIn presence, he is going to take advantage from you, because LinkedIn presence, I was hearing, and this is quote unquote a recruiter saying, gives a holistic perspective, a three-dimensional perspective, which resume doesn't give. It talks about personal values. You can sell yourself on values that you can bring on table through the content that you create. Even you haven't walked into an interview and that recruiter said, I exactly knew what this candidate was acing on, and that gave an advantage to that person over the another resume who had no LinkedIn presence. So that 20% of market, you can literally amp up your game and stand out in a pack of 10 resumes, even before they call you in an interview. So that's just 20% of the job market. The other person is 80% of hidden job market, where talent acquisition managers are literally using LinkedIn to vet candidates. They use LinkedIn recruiter software to short, like to find candidates, and literally they research candidates, and then they send private email to them that we are, if you are interested in a job, we found your profile to be very very close to this job opening that we have in our company. I have had so many recruiters approaching me. So in Canadian context, whether it be 20% job market or 80% hidden job market, you need to have LinkedIn presence. If you don't have, as a newcomer to Canada, learn, because that is one, I call job search strategy an apple pie. And right now there is so much of competition. With the knowledge, you know that this is an undisputed tool for either the 20% or the 80%. You need to learn to amp up your game as a job seeker. If you are not, you are not competing with the competition that you have in the market right now. So learn, and as I said, my opening slide, be ready to learn what works here in Canada, and definitely it will really help you. I will highly recommend you to learn a little bit about LinkedIn.
Thank you, Khadija. This does bring us to the end of our webinar. We're right at the 12 o'clock mark. Do you want to add something before we sign off today?
Great. I just wanted to say, like, this thought just came into the question what Sunil put up. Basically, Sunil, you are in competition with a lot of people, and I know it is a bit frustrating. Job search is very bit frustrating. Rejections really brings you down, but I really want to say you can do it. Keep on trying, testing. It's all about try and test, refine and define. That's, I think so, life journey and life hack is. So don't give up, learn new things, try new things, things will work out for you. So I just want to motivate all my newcomers to pre-arrival immigrant community. If life is throwing lemons at you, make lemonade. Set small goals, celebrate small victories, approach the right people to learn from them. It's no harm. Okay, you might be, we all are coming from very stellar like credentials. But when you're coming to a new land, be ready to learn, because things, I'm telling you, things in job search market doesn't work the same way what I had in my origin country. I literally had to start from scratch. So that is my closing remarks. Stay motivated. Ask for help whenever you need it.
Thank you so much, Khadija. Again, Khadija gave us great insight and intel on LinkedIn every month. So we're very grateful to have her back again. Our next webinar is next week on Tuesday, October 13th, how to work through the applicant tracking system. So the ATS, where your resume goes through. So how to get through it. And it's a great webinar. It is at 1 p.m. It's a different time. We had to switch because of something else that's coming up. But so we'll see you then. And I'm